Kaylee McDonald, social media producer for Fertility Planit and your moderator today. Welcome to today's video session, Reboot Your Baby Making Mindset. Thanks to our attendees for joining us. We encourage you to share your views and continue the conversation in the chat section of this webinar, which is located right at the bottom of your screen, as well as on Twitter and other social media platforms using the hashtags MyFertility and BabyMakingReboot. You can go to fertilityplanet.com to find information on our speakers today and to book appointments with them. Stay in touch with us. We really love to hear from you all. While Fertility Planit is being compensated for this video session, all opinions are the speaker's own. It's now my pleasure to start this conversation off by introducing you to Renee Waggener, life coach and the Chief Egg Energy Optimizer of Xtraordinarily Fertility. Welcome, Renee, and thanks for joining us today.
Hey, how's it going, Kaylee? Thank you so much. Really excited to be here today.
Doing really well. We're glad to have you. So I guess just to start things off so people know a little bit more about you, let's talk about your practice. Sure. You run a practice called Xtraordinarily Fertility, which is a coaching service where you focus on people with infertility. I just wanted to know a little bit more about your practice and why you chose to focus on infertility particularly.
Well, basically because it's part of my story. I know the pain personally. But first, do you, Kaylee, know the difference between like coaching and therapy?
I do, but our viewers might not. Why don't you lay that out for me?
Okay, I'm just going to do a quick sentence. You know, coaches really help clients focus on how I can move forward versus why things are happening. That's a little rudimentary, like basic, right?
Yeah, I usually hear like traditional therapy is something that you go to like find out what your baggage is and to really like focus on what that baggage is. And if you're going to a life coach instead, you're basically saying, I acknowledge that I have baggage, but I'm looking forward to moving forward in my life and not necessarily dragging it all with me. So let's focus on the forward steps as opposed to why I am where I am right now.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like how can I move forward versus what am I carrying in my suitcase, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so why infertility? Because, hey, it's my story. I've had 3 failed IVF cycles. We ended up, after that, taking a break. We decided that maybe foster adopt would be our next step. We got certified, and since then, like we had some matches that it just wasn't working out. Like it just wasn't happening. And I really firmly believe that the universe is always talking to us, and especially me, so I try to listen. And so from that point, we've taken a break, and so we're currently child-free, but we do have a new 13-week-old puppy, Otis, and so you know, I'm a fur baby mama. And for me personally, I feel like I was supposed to go through this infertility journey so that I could really relate to all the women out there and the pain personally. And I know deep in my soul at this point that I am not meant to birth a baby, but instead I was meant to birth this business so I could help others through this uncontrollable disease of infertility. And through this, I really found my purpose of helping others birth their babies. And I think that's the true fertility that we're really seeking deep in our souls, is that purpose that fills us up, that ultimate fertilicious living.
Absolutely. I think that fertility is about so much more than just conceiving and having a child. Yeah. I know they talk a lot about it really running the course of your entire life, and I think that's so true. I think it's amazing how something as painful as infertility can make you reassess your life and reconnect with your inner self and, like you say, birth something so amazing as this practice that can help other people. And so I know that you relate a lot to the journey of infertility. Do you think that that really serves your clients well?
Well, of course. I mean, I think it helps make things more unique for me as well, you know, because I am one of those 1 in 8 couples, and you know, through that experience of infertility, you know, I've come out the other side without a baby success story, but instead living, breathing, thriving, and I'm passionate about for life and for helping others, and that's my success story. Like it can be more than for me, you know, having that baby. And I know a lot of women out there is like, I don't want more, I just want the baby. And that's great. That's good. And I want to help you do that. But for me, it was more than having that baby.
Yeah, I think that, like you say, it's really important for someone to understand that you get where they're coming from. Being part of that 1 in 8 group is something that you can't really fake. You can't really buy into that.
Right.
It's something that you only gain through the experience of it. I know that my personal therapist that I was seeing during a lot of my struggles had gone through infertility, and just knowing that she got me on that very basic level, so without me having to explain 500 times what IVF is or what IUI is or why this is horrible and hard, she just got it, and it allows you then to kind of move forward with plans for coping and continuing to grow, even though infertility is kind of seeming to hold you back. And it really made a huge difference for me, so I can appreciate why that would be important for your practice.
Yeah, I think it's crucial, but just exactly what you said. You know, it's just being able to connect and getting each other so that you can actually start moving forward and doing the work that you came to me to do.
Totally. I think that it's really important to talk a little bit about the things that you do. I know that on YouTube you have this great egg energy video series, which is hysterical and really relatable and fun to do, and it gives you little tips every day for a month on how to sort of further your journey and feel better and more engaged with your life. What other kinds of things do you do in your practice that make it unique? Like, what kinds of things do you target?
Sure. So really part of my uniqueness is not only my own journey, but also is that I really offer a step-by-step transformation from frustration that you're in to fertilicious living, all with compassion and understanding, no coddling, and a lot of laughter and learning that is sustainable well into parenthood. And these programs are really flexible to help work around people's busy schedules and lives. And so I've broken the transformation into some smaller group programs like Reboot Your Baby Making Mindset. So that's 5 steps to help you flip your baby making switch back on. And that's actually going to start June 10th. And there's also the option to do the transformation on a one-on-one basis, all starting with my Fertility Snapshot Process. So basically I work with clients internationally via Skype or email or on the phone. And for this event, it all starts with a free Skype or phone fertility exploration session. So that's a half-hour free session with me. So basically you can learn about me, I can learn about you, and whether or not you choose to work with me or not, we can evaluate which plan and direction is best for you based on your individual needs. So, and also, which I'm really excited about, I'll be launching my first live weekend retreat in the Redwoods here in California. And that's called Revive Your Baby Making Mojo. And so that's going to have yoga, a naturopath will be coming, a nutritionist, fertile foods will be fed to you, all while being introduced to my big Fertilicious living program. So that's coming up in October, the first weekend. Of course, I'm totally excited. And so all this starts to find out, you know, what program is right for you, just getting that first free fertility exploration session with me that's being offered because I'm talking to you, Kaylee, today.
That all sounds really exciting. I'm excited for your course there, that you get to go out into the wilderness and have yoga and meditation. And when you say being fed fertilicious foods, I'm imagining in a hammock by scantily clad individuals, but that might just be me. But I think that there's
let me write that down.
There's a lot of fun things that that we can do to sort of allow ourselves to live in the moment more during infertility. I know that you said that you have that Reboot Your Baby Making Mindset. And what does that really mean for you, to reboot your mindset? How do we do that? What kinds of things do you focus on to do that?
Yes, how can we do that? So one of the issues that if you've been on this infertility journey for any length of time is that you've probably lost some confidence from all the failed cycle. You might be feeling like you really don't know what direction you're supposed to be taking on this journey. And so you stay frozen in this time, and and in fear, right? You've lost your clear path. You feel broken from the inside out, and you're isolated from family and friends and maybe even your partner because they just don't get it. You're also isolated because like they just don't get like the emotional, the mental, and really the spiritual roller coaster that you are on. And all this leads to you being stuck in this stressed mindset and thinking, you know, will this ever end? You know, and round we go. So from this place, I really came up with the Reboot to really help you stop the habits that are keeping you out there from having a baby and rather restart what is more in alignment, what is deep in your heart and your soul, you know, to be mothers of this earth, ready to nurture yourself first so that you can have something to give what is yet to come in your life. So the baby, for me, a business. So that is really what came about for, you know, what is the Reboot, right?
I think it is really important. You say when you're going through the infertility journey, there are a lot of points where you become so defeated and feel so low, and sometimes that can be manifest in you doing negative self-talk and having these horrible self-defeating loops that you just run in your head all the time, feeling like you're never going to break out of that. I know that that was something that I struggled with a lot when I was going through my own journey, where you get to this place where you're like, this maybe will never happen. And that is a reality that sometimes for some people they won't wind up conceiving a baby or adopting, but it doesn't mean that you need to be stuck there for the entirety of the rest of your life. What a horrendous place to have to imagine you being for the rest of eternity and forever. I wouldn't want to be there for the rest of eternity and forever. I think that it's so good that you have some tips for how to move yourself out of that. What are some of the habits that people can, like even just one where they can sort of latch onto it? What can they do to change the way that they're thinking?
Sure. So I would say that one of the great steps you can do is like just start a gratitude journal, right? And this really helps shift feeling broken to really being strong. So start by just writing 3 things to start and maybe 5 things if you're really ambitious. But this tool is simple and it helps you shift your brain from being in the shallows to really being thankful for the things that we do have, right? So like loving your partner, I have all my limbs, I can taste, I can smell, I have the ability to have a successful career, you know, whatever it is, maybe the sky is blue, but write it down. And this helps you get more into the thankfulness and gets you out of the like, woe's me, right? Another one is breathe, right? Okay, I'm breathing right now, right? You're not dead. But I really want you to pay attention to where in your body you're holding your stress. So is it in your chest? Is it in your throat? Maybe your shoulders? So breathe deeply into that spot and imagine that the air you're breathing is a superpower, spirit-based, healing white light. And so as you imagine, as you breathe this white light in, this healing white light in, it spreads all through your body. And when you breathe out, when you exhale, I want you to exhale out the toxins and the negative emotions and the negative thoughts. And so doing this at least 10 times, this helps release that ball in your throat or that tightness in your chest, or do it until that dissipates. So that helps you, you know, get out of being stuck. I'll give you one more real quick. Feed your soul. So I want you to remember when you were totally elated, you know, what were you doing? Were you dancing, socializing with friends, traveling, maybe writing? What is it that gets your personal juices flowing? What feeds your soul? And I want you to reconnect with that, because it's so often when we're so focused on infertility, we're so overwhelmed and there's too much, like that's all we're doing. And so we need to reconnect with what we love, what feeds our soul. And so, you know, if it's talking to a friend, reach out to Kaylee, reach out to me, let's have a chat. But this is the first step really in becoming more authentically yourself again.
Absolutely. I think it's important to remember that who you really are never goes away, but it can kind of get mired in this muck that sort of coats everything when you start dealing for sometimes months and years and decades on end with infertility.
Right.
You can really get mired in the mud, but that you're still down there. You just have to uncover yourself. I like the gratitude journal. Okay, so I tried a gratitude journal, and I had a really hard time writing them down every day, like in a journal at the end of the night. But what I did instead is, like, I wish I'd brought it up here. It's sitting on my kitchen table right now. I have a gratitude jar that I, like, went to Michael's and bought a really nice jar and wrote with felt pens on it that it's a gratitude jar and some happy thoughts, and then put a bunch of papers beside it. And I would fill one out usually once every day or every other day, and eventually it becomes full. And so it's this really tangible way to see, like, okay, today sucks because I peed on a stick and it was negative, or today sucks because I started my cycle. And those are all really hard things to do, but you can turn around and you can look at the jar and say, but look, it's full. And then you have that moment where you can go through them and read them and reconnect with the things that are really going on. And it's kind of like you said, on really bad days, maybe it really is that, you know what, I didn't get hit by a bus today, but and that is a positive. Like, you actually are still alive, and even though it may not feel like it, that's important. And so it just sort of refocuses you.
Totally refocuses you. I love the jar idea. That's great. But whatever you do, I think you should, like, try to make it a consistent practice. So commit to 30 days, and Facebook me if you get off track, and I'll help you get back on track. So that's really what I'm here for, is to like, as your partner, somebody to hold your hand so that we can go through this together. You are not alone, right?
And that's so important. It's so important when you're going through these motions and through the journeys and the trials that you're going to have to do, to have somebody that you can really rely on, so that we can, almost be accountable for our actions, just because on some days it will be easy, and on other days you're going to be needing to be reminded why this is something that is important. Just really quickly, I was wondering if you can think of any specific negative infertility mindsets that set in, things that people can say, because I know that some people are sitting there right now going, oh, I don't really do that. I still love myself. And that's good. I'm certainly hopeful that that's true for you. But what are some things that some people might do that they don't really realize is something that they could be helped to move past?
Okay, here are some of them. Obsession, overwhelm, overreactions, overjudgments of others, especially other pregnant women or women with babies. Loss of faith, lack of hope, loss of concentration, and perfectionist overload. And I happen to be guilty of that one.
It's a hard journey, and you get into a place where you need everything to be perfect, and your cycle must look like this, and you must, bed on these specific days and make sure that everybody's on board all the time, and go to yoga and go and meditate and, like, do all of these things, and then you will get pregnant. And so I think it's interesting that we don't, especially in the infertility community, you don't really equate that with an obsessive thought pattern that can be holding you back from a little bit more of your joy, but it certainly is.
Yeah, it is. And that's exactly it. It's like what happens, and it's kind of like that analogy where the frog gets put in a pot and then you turn on the burner and the frog is swimming around, he doesn't notice that the water keeps getting warmer, right? And until he's, like, boiling. So
absolutely.
It's like that. That's exactly how it works with infertility. Like, first, hey, it's, we're, having sex. And then next you might say, okay, it didn't happen this month. Maybe I'll pay attention to my ovulation. Okay, next month I'm going to cut out alcohol. Okay, next month I'm going to, go see my doctor. It's like every month, every cycle, we try something else until we're doing everything and doing everything perfect, or trying to do everything perfect, and that leads to that obsession, that overwhelm, and we get out of control with that perfectionist mindset, like trying to do everything.
Absolutely. And I think it's really easy to get stuck in that trap of, I'm doing everything perfect. Why is it not working? And then it just creates more opportunities for you to find negative things to talk about and focus on in your life.
Right.
I think it's really important that we have different resources that we can reach out to, like you or other friends on Facebook, things like that, that can really help to refocus you on things that are going well, and to remember that really is more to life than just trying to create a baby. It's an important thing to want to do, but it really doesn't have to be your entire existence. So at this point, we have a few moments left to take about 2 to 5 questions from our online audience.
Okay.
The first question coming in from Lulu by email says, are there any mantras or quotes that you like to use to help shift your daily thinking and help you stay in that positive mindset?
Okay, so mantras and quotes, like I definitely encourage like affirmations. And so one of the affirmations that I like to say, and affirmations are stating something in the positive as if it's already happened. So like, for example, I am a mother that is giving my child the freedom to be themselves, including choosing when they're going to show up or when they're going to come to me. So I am a mother. So, and then the other thing I do is I do meditate on a daily basis, and I think that really helps, calm the mind and like stop the mind chatter from happening and stop the mind from like taking over your whole day. So meditation is important, but that's one of the awesome affirmations that I say, like I am an awesome mother, or yes, just the simple word of yes, saying that with getting up and maybe, putting your arms above your head, some kind of body movement, that helps as well. Getting out in nature is important too.
Absolutely. There's this amazing quote that I've heard you talk about before that is actually up on my wall because I need to look at it quite often, is our greatest fear is not that we have no power, but that we are powerful beyond measure. And I usually like say that one out loud, standing with like my hips spread and like my hands on my hips in a big powerful stance, because it's true. We are really powerful, and what you put out is going to come back to you as something that is powerful.
Yeah, and that's by Marianne Williamson.
It's such a good quote.
Yeah, well, it even continues after that. Like, I don't have it memorized, but it is transformational. Our biggest problem, our biggest fear is not fear itself, is that fear that we are great or something like that. It's like,
totally. It's really moving.
We fear our success. We fear that we are more powerful beyond measure. And so I love her.
Yeah, it's a fantastic quote. Everybody should look it up. It's one of those ones that you should say to yourself like once a day at least. I have another one coming in here from Marie. Marie says, do you still find the struggle difficult? And do your arms ever feel empty? So that's something we talk about a lot in the infertility community, is this idea of having empty arms that feel so heavy because they don't have a child. And I guess they're wondering, since you've decided that you don't want to conceive children anymore, and you've kind of moved past that into more of a child-free state of mind, do you ever still get thrown back into that mindset?
I will say this, I'll be honest, that I do get triggered once in a while. Like, for example, my sister, she's got 3 great kids, and, one of them's going to be turning 16. The oldest one is going to turn 16 this year. And so sometimes when I see her acting with her family, like just a little twinge of, I sure miss having that opportunity. But the key is that the trigger doesn't last. Like, I'm able to process that thought so fast in my head and, like, grieve it and get through it really, really, really fast, because I've now practiced, like, how to deal with that trigger.
And I think that that's one of the things that's really important and is so beneficial to having a coach like you, is that even when you really get going, support can sometimes still be really helpful. So like, it's all a journey, right? It's a process. Yeah. You don't go through some ideas and some positive affirmations and just immediately things are fine. And You can have coffee with your hugely pregnant best friend and it's no big deal, or, you know, that woman who's got 4 kids down the street and is pregnant with number 5 and doesn't even care about them, that might still bug you. And so that's when you really have to have a good support system, which can include somebody like a life coach or a therapist.
Right, and the tools. Like, you really need to, you know, have the tools. And I think as we grow up, we are not given a lot of these tools on how to deal with, you know, being triggered, with, you know, dealing with our emotions, because so many of us don't deal with our emotions. Like, so many of us just shove all that stuff down and, you know, I'm not going to deal with it, and then it's going to come out in other ways, you know, like verbal diarrhea. So by having a coach, then you actually learn the tools and you get the support. So that's a good thing.
No, absolutely. It's really helpful. Another question here from Chantel. Sorry, Chantel. Are you certain that everyone can do this? What if I can't seem to move past my anger or my hurt or my feelings? How can you help me to get there?
Okay, well, you can. You actually can move past that if you choose to. So, like in my Reboot course, I give you the starting tools to help you do that. So by going through the Reboot, you learn the tools to help get you through that anger. I mean, being attached to the anger might be a habit that you've always had. And by, you know, learning the skills to, you know, give that commitment to your anger up, you can move forward.
Absolutely. I think that that's one of those things where when you're really deep in it, it can feel impossible, but that we're not throwing you to the wolves. Like, she's not going to contact you, Renee, and have your phone call, and then you're going to say, perfect, you're ready to go. Like, there are steps that you get to go through. It's like building a scaffold, right? You can't just jump up to the next level. You have to be supported to it. And so that's kind of the purpose of people like you, which is amazing, because you're able to help people reach those next levels and support them in maintaining that and helping them keep their structure going when things are a little shaky. I think that even when it feels like you can't get there, you can get there. And if it's something that you're struggling with, like what you said, it might just be that you are really attached to the angry feeling, and then that's something that I'm sure you can address as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we always are at choice, right? We're always at choice at what our thoughts are and how we're feeling. And so, you know, are you going to say, you know, yes to that anger every single time, or do you want to say yes to something else that might be a little bit more positive? So really, you know, being able to walk you through that process is going to be the best way that I can support you. And the Reboot course is really going to be a great way to do that. So sign up for the free fertility exploration session and we can have that talk.
Perfect.
I'd love it.
Well, that's all of the time we have for questions. In closing, I just wanted to say 3 main points that Renee would like you to take away with you. You can break free from your habits that are keeping you trapped in a negative infertility mindset. You can try to refocus on the positive aspects of your life. So some of the things that we had mentioned were create a gratitude journal, practice mindful breathing, you know, dance and color. Number 2, by embodying your powerful feminine, you can become your most authentic self. It means you're going to be learning who you are again. You can do that through yoga, through meditation, acupuncture. It's really important to stop negative self-talk and replace that with positive affirmations. And number 3, that you can take back control of your life, that it is possible. Just be present and try to be joyful. You can dance, sing, fly a kite, do things that used to really invigorate you before you got so stuck in this journey. And like just an overall point is don't be afraid to allow yourself to flourish. Infertility is really hard, but it is not impossible. So now I just wanted to say thanks to Renee for spending time with us and sharing her expertise and her experiences. You can learn more about our speakers and sponsors and book appointments with them if you go to fertilityplanit.com. In regards to Renee specifically, she is offering a free introductory call for you to start your way to being more fertilicious and remembering how to embrace your life. So definitely check out that offer through our website. You can also watch the video session of this, or the video recording of this live session, and all other video sessions produced by Fertility Planit on our website for free. Go to www.fertilityplanit.com. Thanks to our audience for joining us, and please share your views and continue the conversation on social media using the hashtags MyFertility and BabyMakingReboot. We love to hear from you, so keep talking. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.